Hey guys, it's me, Sam. Here's Nikke list. Let's go. So we're doing tier 2 bursts. It would have been a lot easier if I took the pictures from here, but I was dumb and I was stupid. But it's okay. I've learned for future tier lists how to do this better. Anyways, we got the Wikipedia open. As I said previously, this is burst 1, so we'll be pulling from the second stack here. This is burst 3, and this is Red Hood. Everybody knows Red Hood is different. Burst 2, first one that we're going to start the burst with is Senti. Her skills. When you're hitting someone with the full charge, it does a cooldown of skill 2. It reduces it by 10%. Skill 2 creates a shield equivalent to 7% of the caster's final HP. Protects all allies from damage. It's not that big of a shield, but it cools down every 9 seconds. And as you do a full charge, it reduces by 2 seconds, I should say. Or 10%, not 2 seconds. 2 seconds. No, that's skill 2, Zam, for 10%. First skill. When she charges her full charge, because she's using a rocket launcher, it will cool down her second skill by 10%. Give 7% of her health as a shield to everyone. So naturally you want more health on her. Then as for her burst, she deals a bunch of her damage as a final attack with any additional stuff, that any buffs that she gets. Increases her ult's damage. It's only 145%, unfortunately, and it does affect 5 enemies with the lowest ranking remaining HP. Those 5 enemies are not distributed, and we did talk about that in burst 1, where distributed damage is to everybody, and the more people, the less damage it does. When you're attacking 5 people, if there's one boss on the screen, it only takes 1 damage off that ult. It doesn't hit it 5 times. And it also decreases their defense for 10 seconds. I argue she's better than Prima because she gives you buffs, she gives you cooldowns to keep giving you more buffs, more shields, and she does do the defense decrease. Overall, Senti leaves a lot to be desired. She is a burst of 20 seconds, so that's not a terrible time, but I'm looking at it going, I don't think she's that good. Being the first one, I can't really compare her to somebody else in burst 2. I feel like she kind of sits between A and B. The reason for that being, she gives everyone a shield and it constantly keeps giving the shield out every couple seconds. And she does decrease defense, but she doesn't reduce any sort of cooldown. So I wouldn't put her in S. I wouldn't put her in A. She's kind of peeking into A because she also debuffs while making sure people are healed. I honestly think I could move her down to B and I'd be happy with that. Tier 2, next girl, we have Guilty. Guilty activates after 6 normal attacks, which makes me ask the question, how many attacks does she get? 9. That's weird, but okay. All right. So after 6 of those 9 attacks, she will duplicate the attack of any ally with the highest attack, and it stacks up to 5 times and lasts for 10 seconds. She's going to be duplicating attack and attack and attack and stacking it, which is amazing. I don't think she'll actually reach her 5 stacks. It would be impressive. Guilty goes amazing with Trove. She's also amazing because you don't have to actually invest in her a lot because she's taking attack power from whoever has your highest attack. So that could be a Scarlet, for example, or a Red Hood. After 12 normal attacks, all of her win code allies increase the buffs by 1, which affects her as well. So she would stack up to 6 times. Of course, attack is increased. It's only 10 seconds. It's every 12 attacks, which is a reload and a half. No, reload and a quarter. A third, a reload and a third. Then for her ult, it is a 20-second ult as well. It's doing a whole bunch of damage. It's only on one target. If that first skill is fully stacked up, she decreases defense huge for 5 seconds and also deals another 300% damage. It is a lot of damage. So I argue she's the best from the Liberation, the Rehabilitation Center. Unlock Guilty first. That's my highest recommendation. She's the most useful. She's probably, in my opinion, the only one that's useful. She doesn't really do that much. She doesn't reduce our cooldowns. Yeah, of course, she can increase wind damage and attacks, and she takes attacks from everybody else. But I feel like she goes in the A or B as well. The reason for her being in A and B as well, she's really good depending upon who you give her. but she's not excellent by herself. She has no stats that would put her in the S or A rank. Swimsuit helm. Looking at her skills, after she lands 30 attacks, she does an extra 131%. Basically, it's another shot. When she goes into full burst, affecting all allies, the cooldown of the burst skill goes down. So you guys already know where I'm probably thinking of putting her. At her second ability that happens every 4 seconds, she's going to be doing damage randomly of an extra bullet gets shot off into somebody. And if that enemy is electric, they do take another 6% damage, stacking up to 5 times for 5 seconds. The burst mode for her, again, 20 seconds. It's going to affect all enemies. It doesn't do that much damage, but it is final attack damage. So if you do get buffed during the combat, it does do more damage. And when they are electric code, they take double damage. I easily put her in an A tier. I want to put her in an S because she doesn't really have any downsides. She's a really good assault rifle. I kind of think she could go into S. She's really, really useful. Assault rifles have no limited range, so it doesn't matter what range your target is at. It's not like shotguns or sniper rifles. I don't know if there's going to be a girl that really beats her. If it's not an electrical boss, she's not going to do all that much more damage. You know, she's good. She's decent overall. Like, she's a great pick. I would take her most times. We're going to move on to the next girl that we're going to rank, which is Viper. And you'll notice that I do have the Viper skin. Whenever the target first appears, her attack goes up for 10 seconds and her hit rate goes up. That's great. She's going to do a lot of damage in the first 10 seconds. She is a shotgunner, so if it's at range, she's not going to do a lot of damage. Snake scale allows her to increase her hit rate yet again. And when she enters full burst, she's no longer the target of single target attacks. And if she takes damage, she loses it. Also, she becomes invulnerable for 1 second, which really doesn't help you because if she lives and she's untargetable, it doesn't really matter. Her bursts, she does a whole shit ton of final attack damage. That's a lot though. It is 20-second burst. If it's a stage target, like a boss, I'm going to just point out Gravedigger, the defense drops by 20% for 10 seconds. I have invested in her a lot because I wanted to kill Gravedigger really early in the game. When you're a new person trying to get past Gravedigger on special interception, Viper can carry you very hard. Shotguns are super effective against Gravedigger. She does a whole whack of damage, decreasing their defense. But that's the only fight I can really suggest you take Viper for. The problem is she's not going to be targeted. That means your higher attack characters, your burst 1s, burst 3s, are going to be attacked first. And they're going to die because they cannot target Viper. There's no reason why she needs to be invulnerable. There's no reason why you don't want her to get hit. If you have that problem, again, take Noah, who makes everyone invulnerable except for her. You're only useful for 1 attack, 1 boss. You're not really that good at PvP even. You unfortunately get put in the D tier. You're good for 1 fight and 1 fight only. The next skill 2 girl we got, Naga, after 12 normal attacks, recovers the cover. You'll notice I mentioned recover cover happens a lot in this game. It's only 14%, 15%, but it's per shot, not based off of skill use. It activates when applying shields. It's still a second part of the skill. There's going to be damage increase to the core by 85% for 10 seconds, and that affects all allies. So anytime a shield is applied to your team, you'd be doing more damage when attacking the core. Second skill, after 5 attacks, the 2 allies with the highest attack, they're going to be doing more damage to the core. And with the 2 people with the lowest HP, they're getting 10% of Naga's maximum HP as their HP. And you get tier 10 gear. You can give her HP gear, which would increase her HP to increase her healing if you wanted. When she bursts, which again is a 20-second burst, she gets pierced for her shotgun. All other characters get increased 16% of her attack. And if shields go off during burst, the attack goes up for all allies by 32%, 31% of her caster's attack. What we're looking at here is she's repairing your cover and she's increasing your damage to core. She's going to also be giving out a little bit of healing. Not a lot of healing, but a little bit of healing. And it is every 5 shots. So it will add up. The more she shoots, the more healing you're going to get. And especially if you give her something that increases her attack speed, she'll heal more. If you look at Modernia, this is kind of important to break the core so she doesn't do her pew pew laser beams that'll stun you. But then after that core is broken, you're not getting extra damage. Where does Naga go at an S? She buffs damage. She makes it so that she can pierce. She's a healer. Even though it's not a very good heal, it still heals enough to keep people alive. It's enough to keep Alice above 90%. Like, pairing Alice with Naga and Tia is amazing. Admi. I'm gonna be completely biased about Admi because she was my first really good second burster. I have way too much invested into her. The reason I consider Admi to be good is not because of her character design. It's purely based on she buffs everybody on the team. Everything she does is a buff. You do more damage when charging, great. Sniper rifles and rocket launchers love you. And it's when she gets attacked 20 times. She's not typically getting attacked. So this skill's not really that good. The second skill, however, the two highest attackers don't take as much damage. You could argue that this is something that you would want with Scarlet. I use Scarlet as a lot of examples because she does do crit when she's under, is it 60, 50% health, something stupid like that. So if you make it so Scarlet takes less damage, you can fiddle a little bit more with when you're in the crit range, and you can fiddle with not needing as many heals. Her ult is bloody amazing. Your reload speed is halved. Your critical damage is increased by 30% every 20 seconds. That's a good all-around character. She has a sniper rifle, so obviously she's going to be increasing her damage. She doesn't taunt to make use of her first skill. There's a lot of issues with this kit, but overall, the burst is what gives it to her. The burst, I argue, puts her into an A or B as well. I would be very generous to put her into an A tier. All these three, who you pair them with as to why they're an A or a B. We got Blanc. I'm already going to tell you she goes in the S, but I'm putting her right underneath Naga because I feel like Naga's better. Damage is better than healing. Damage is better than survivability. One thing of note with the bunny girls, they are both wind. Blanc needs Noir. If you do not have Noir, Blanc is trash. Blanc is the best of the two bunny girls, but if you don't have Noir, you might as well never run Blanc. After she lands 120 shots, creates a shield. It's every 120 normal attacks. It's not that big of a shield and lasts for 5 seconds. It's great, don't get me wrong. It means that you're gonna have more defense. Then her second skill, everybody starts recovering health. It's not during full burst, it's after it ends, and it's only for 5 seconds, and it's based off of Blanc's maximum HP. If Noir is in the field, which means Noir doesn't need to be used at all, she doesn't need to be invested in, your burst skill cooldown drops by 40.1 seconds, which is important because she's a 60-second burst. But if Blanc is on the field, it's a 20-second burst. It's just automatic. The burst affects all of the allies, and it gives them all healing for 8 seconds. Remember that you're getting extra healing after the burst ends, as well as during the burst. The ally that has the lowest HP gets Indomitability for 10 seconds. Which is also maximum HP plus 31%. And all enemies take more damage over that 10-second burst. So you're healing a huge amount because of Blanc, and you're doing a bunch more damage based off her burst. So here's a question for you guys, because I don't, you know, and you can't click on the word
Whoa!
You can click on the word. I've tried that a million times. The effect protects Nikke from being knocked out, so they don't die. They just go to their lowest HP and they survive until Indomitability falls off. All right, so that they don't die. Blanc, not as good as Naga. She's very, very good because she's cooling down those bursts. She's bursting every 20 seconds. She's dropping some fat heals. Do not pair another healer with Blanc because there's no reason. You're already getting it. Next up, we got Noah. Her skills aren't good, but they aren't bad. She has a 10% chance when being attacked to reduce damage taken for all allies by 10%. Problem is her second skill taunts. So she will be taking the attacks, but her allies won't. As much as I would love to say you should have less attack damage from all your allies, if you're the only one taking damage, why wouldn't you reduce your damage? I get that she does reduce everyone's, including her own, but it would be like saying, you know, when a tank shield walls in World of Warcraft, the mages take less damage. Why would you want that? You want to protect yourself. When she taunts, the target that she's taunting with full charge, by the way, because she is a rocket launcher, anything she hits reduces their attack power by 14% for 5 seconds. So You're not going to be taking as much damage when she taunts you, which means she's shooting you with the full charge, but she's going to be the one taking the damage. On the burst skill, which is a 40-second burst skill, it's not good because of 40 seconds. It taunts all enemies for 10 seconds. And it also makes everyone, including herself, invulnerable for 3 seconds and increases their defense for 10 seconds. So they're going to take no damage. 7 seconds after that, they're going to take very little damage. This is huge for PvP. I cannot express how good this is for PvP because you're only going to burst once in PvP. And with that one burst, you're invulnerable, which means for basically 3 seconds or up to that 10 seconds, you are just devastating the enemy team. You're going to be unaffected and just laugh as they're all dead. You have to get the burst to activate her in PvP, but it's incredibly useful. I'm going to have to put her in A, and you may be saying, Zam, you said you have to have cooldowns to get there. Her versatility in PvP puts her up good enough that you can invest in her. Plus, she's one of the only pilgrims you can buy mileage tokens. The silver mileage tokens can be used to buy more cores of her. It's easy to power her up. She's one of the easiest people to get, and she has a lot of versatility. All right, guys, welcome back to the end card where we get to do a special YouTube only recruitment. Don't mind the blue beard. We raised a bunch of charity on Twitch back in December, so I had to dye my facial hair blue. But we're here to do a recruitment. We're going to be recruiting for Elegg. Apparently, she's a good person. I'm not a big fan of her setup, but here we go. Let's see if we can go ahead and get her unlocked. And that's not yellow. Well, crap. You know, of all these tier lists, I would have figured maybe we would have get one SSR. Maybe one. That would be great. That'd be fantastic. Anyways, enjoy part 1. We got part 2 coming up next week, and then we also got part 3 coming up shortly after. I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.